Today we went to the 53 of your street where people from everywhere come to learn English. Brian and Elliot, they use a different way of teaching, the Callan Method.
The Callan Method is a very quick way to learn English. It focuses on actually beginning to communicate in the target language immediately rather than trying to do translations and spending a lot of time doing exercises from a book.
Well, the Callan Method works very simply. The classes are 2 hours. The first hour is always a revision hour where students go over work they've done before, and in the second hour there's new work and maybe new grammar, new vocabulary is introduced in a way that's maybe more similar to a different English school. But the bulk of the lesson is in questions and answers. It's not free conversation. The questions are very focused and they build from the work that they do the day before. And the students are really repeating the questions. The teacher helps them to form a correct answer. And the students are corrected immediately when they make a mistake. You don't have to start as a beginner, you can really start any time, but if you did start as a complete beginner, you could work through the whole Callan Method in around a year if you're quite focused and studying in your own time as well.
The Callan Method was created by Robin Callan, and I believe he first published the books in 1963. While working in Italy, he came across the Berlitz method, which he taught himself. The Berlitz method itself was a reaction against the translation method, where students would be studying, for example, Latin or Greek in the classroom. Their teacher would be French and they would do all the work in French while doing the translations in Latin or Greek. So it's a reaction against that.
Well, the class has a little bit of writing, a little bit of reading, but the bulk of the class is speaking. But as I said, it's not free conversation, it's very, very guided and very structured. The bulk of it is really questions and answers that use the target vocabulary and target grammar and build up from the lesson before.
Well, I choose Callan Method because it's a good way for learning English because we just speak all the time. And for this, I think that is the best way to learn English, just speaking.
Well, I think the Callan Method is a faster way to learn English, especially for beginners, because it's very intuitive. Students have to grapple with the target language immediately. They don't go to their textbooks. They have to actually speak during the lesson and the teachers prompt them. So there's a lot more effort required from the students than in other English courses.
The students that come to the school, it's changed a little bit in the last few years, but it's generally people from the EU, so Spanish and Italian. It's much harder to come to this country now if you're not from the EU. And again, they're not usually here on holiday. They're really just they're working, and they generally need to learn English as quickly as possible to get a better job. They're not interested in doing a couple of classes a week for a year. They just need 2 or 3 months of intense study to improve their English rapidly.